Hello everyone, I'm Stephen Van Black. I'm the intern here at Toledo First Baptist Church in beautiful Toledo, Washington, which is the gateway to Mount St. Helens. I'm recording this message here in my prison cell. My office. This video here is like my overture of what I'm going to talk about on Sunday. My message on Sunday is about a new beginning. There's three things about having a new beginning that I want to talk about. The first one is having a new mind. The second is having a new heart. And the third one is having a new trust in God. The new mind is about changing the way we think. Or as the song from DreamWorks, The Prince of Egypt says, "You must look through heaven's eyes." This means we are willing to change our minds and that we are to think as God would have us think, which we are to think about good things, like what Paul says in Philippians 4:8, whatever is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, if any excellent or praiseworthy things, think on such things. So by doing this, we're not becoming like what the world would have us, or becoming what the world is, but rather we're becoming like God is, and that is good. Paul states in Romans 12:2 that we are not to be conformed, that is, to follow this world, but we are to be transformed or changed by the renewing of our minds, so that we can prove what is good, acceptable, and what is the perfect will of God. Why don't we follow the world? Well, just look at it. You just look at it. Well, the reason why we don't follow the world is because it belongs to the devil. Okay? That's why we are to be holy as God is holy. So how do we do that? Well, we keep his commandments. And by keeping his commandments, it not only shows us that we have a changed mind, but we also have a changed heart. And that is to be like born again, or born from above, or born by the Spirit. This shows us that we're following Christ. We're following God's way of having us live. And one of the first things that God has us do is to show love to our neighbors by forgiving them. Now, forgiveness is something that's not easy. I know this because one of my nicknames growing up at home was Even Stevens, because I would just get even with my brothers when they weren't looking at them. When they weren't looking, actually. When I mean get even, like I was slugging them in the back. One time I waited 2 weeks just to get my revenge. Yeah. So, you can definitely tell God definitely got a hold of me. But we are commanded to forgive. Matthew 6:14-15 can be summed up in like one sentence. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Don't forgive, and you will not be forgiven. Plain and simple, right there. Now, don't get confused with forgiveness and trust. Those are two different things. Forgiveness is you're canceling the debt, you're forgiving it, you're wiping it clean. Now, trust is that you're believing that something is reliable. Now, based on those two definitions, if you think that forgiveness and trust are the same thing, come on Sunday. You'll learn how to have a renewed mind. Change the way you think. But forgiveness, when you forgive someone, you can rebuild that broken trust. That's what forgiveness is. You can rebuild afterwards. Now, the last point that is renewing your trust in God. Some of us feel that God is so far away from us. But in actuality, we put him there. He didn't walk away from us. We walked away from him. As Isaiah 53:6 says, we all like sheep have gone astray. We turn everyone to his own ways. And the Lord laid on him the iniquity of us all. Because God doesn't change. We change. The reason why God doesn't change? Well, he can't. He's perfect. If he was to change from being perfect, he'd be imperfect. Now, there are some of us who become fearful and because we can't see the future. And because we can't see the future, we became fearful and failed to trust God, who holds the future in his hands. We became like Elijah when he ran away from Queen Jezebel after the great victory that God won at Mount Carmel. You know, the famous philosopher John Locke, life, liberty, property. He's once said, what worries you masters you. Like what Peter did on the water, like walking on the water. When Jesus was walking to them, they thought he was a spirit, and Peter called out, Lord, if it's you, tell me to come out to you. And so Jesus told him to come. Peter hops out of the boat, starts walking to him, and it's like, wow, this is incredible. Because he trusts God. He trusts that Jesus will give him the ability to walk on water. Well, Peter started looking around. And like the Looney Tunes characters, when they walk off the edge of the cliff, and they're still walking, and all of a sudden they look down and realize, wait a minute, I can't do this. Same thing what happened to Peter. He started to sink because he lost his trust in God. He started to look at the giant sea, the waves, and how this is impossible. Well, with men, things are impossible, but with God, all things are possible. Now, trusting God is not easy because he leads us through difficulties, an unknown future. Well, because the future is unknown to us, but it's known to him. Like this pandemic. Who would have thought that, 2 weeks, it's going to be canceled? It's going to be done. 2 years later, here we are. But God leads us through difficulties for our own good, so that our faith becomes stronger. That is why God leads us through difficulties and hardships, to make us stronger, but also to bring us closer to him. So with the new year coming, let's not waste it. Don't waste it. Use it to draw closer to God. So this is just a brief summary of what I'm going to talk about on Sunday. I hope I see you there. I love to see you guys. If you can, that's fine. But if you can, there's the 3 services, 8 o'clock, 9:30, and 11. 9:30 is outside underneath the tabernacle, which, thank goodness, I don't have to set up this week. I hope it doesn't rain on the guys, because that is hard to do, because that is just not fun to do. If you can't come, there's always the live stream, which you'll be able to watch anywhere, anytime. So, if you're watching this midweek video, thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. It means a lot to me. So with that, I say goodbye, God bless, and may he keep you forever.